Hello LinkedIn and hello YouTube. My name is Mike Flanagan and this is going to be two basic concepts that I probably should have covered in other videos, and that is constraints and print preview, actually in the opposite order. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to bring you over here. I was looking in the resource loading video and I kind of paused during this part of it, and basically I was concerned about losing all of these defaults. But let me show you what I would typically do as far as like modifications go. So we would do a 3-month look ahead. So instead of having that layout description, I would do 3-month look ahead. And that's going to be probably going to be hard to see, so I'll make it bold. Let's see if 12 will show up. Too big. Okay. There is a way to change the width up there. I suppose I could find that. But just for these purposes, this is really all I wanted to show you. It's like right there. Let's say you also wanted to get rid of that up there, like you just didn't want the time. So you can go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. It used to be that in the old days you could just do it right there, but you got to go to this. So, but right now it's 1509, so I'm gonna apply it, and you can see just the date is there instead. So, and I was worried about the defaults being gone, and then there's this big beautiful default button. So you just hit that, okay, and that's the layout, and it's the time is back. So like I said, these are entirely customizable, very easy to do, and that's pretty much it. So the other thing that I wanted to show you guys is constraints. For the most part, the only constraint that I used, first job we used some crazy constraints, but for the most part, the only one that we used, or that I used after that, was start on or after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move activity number 7. I'm going to move it out a month. And it's always going to basically ask you that unless you tell it not to. But once you do that, as you can see, it's just that easy. That's how easy it is to do a start on or after. And you'll notice even if the date is moved out, I'm going to move it out maybe 2 weeks. Actually, I'll move it out to 12. You'll notice that activity didn't move at all. So that's what a constraint does. It's pretty straightforward. I might need to stop this and make a few changes. Yeah, let me do that. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a as late as possible. This is another constraint option. Like I said, this is not something that I would typically use in the day-to-day, but you certainly could if that's the route you wanted to go. So I'm going to say this 1050, I think it's 1050, 1050 leads to 1080. That's the one that I'm thinking of. Yeah, okay, that works. All right. So I'm gonna attach a as late as possible to that one, and what's gonna happen is it's gonna move basically right in front of that, basically as far out as it possibly could. So I schedule it, do that, and you'll see it moved out. So now what's a good way to show on or before? How about, let's just do it and see what happens. This is one that I have not used in a very long time. If it does, yeah, okay. I was kind of wondering, would it move back as far, way back there? Because it's basically, right now it's looking at the finish date and it can go early. We have had some activities that are basically called filler work. And filler work is basically you can do it whenever, and It doesn't really hit your metrics too much. Well, at the place I worked, anyways. But maybe you might use it in the sense that you can do it whenever, when time permits, but you have to get it done by then. Maybe that's the time you'd use a finish on or before. So the last thing I wanted to do is I wanted to show you guys a mandatory finish. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to do a mandatory start as well, but I definitely wanted to show you this one because it's definitely different than what I remember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it. I'm going to move this actually out to August 16th. And it's going to give me the standard. Do you want to put that constraint on there? And I always say yes because it's just out there and, it's easy. But now instead, I'm going to do a mandatory finish on August 20th. And what I wanted to draw your attention to, first off, it is green still. And the other thing I wanted you to see is it's got a 43 days of total float. And so now when I go ahead and schedule this is what you get. You'll notice it immediately becomes red, and the total float is down to 0. And I gotta be honest, I hate the way this looks now. The way that I remember this is basically, as long as you finished it prior to the mandatory finish date, it stayed green. I'm pretty positive it gave you some total float at least. But yeah, the way this looks now, and I get that this is basically your critical path, but I really hate the way this looks. So one thing that kind of made me curious about is like, okay, well, what if there's a mandatory start on it? Would it be the same thing? So that's, we'll make this, what was our start's August 13th. So we'll make that a mandatory start. We'll make this August 13th. Let me schedule it and see what happens. I was hoping it would go green. Nah, same thing, 0 float, and it's red. So yeah, from my perspective, I would absolutely push back if somebody wanted me to use this, but ultimately the schedule's made for others to succeed. So if they wanted to see that, then, so be it. But yeah, that's about all. I mean, the rest of these I kind of feel are very straightforward. So I think I'm going to pass on doing the rest. This video is already long enough. So yeah, I guess that's the last video for me. If you actually sat through and watched all of them, one, I think you're a glutton for punishment, but 2, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. And hopefully I'll be in a P6 scheduling role soon. Thanks.